go all out promoting women's basketball, bring new fans in, and get unprecedented attention for it.
This goes beyond simple disappointment. It is genuine disbelief, largely because USA Basketball just released promotional materials for their December training camp, and somehow the biggest name in the entire sport is nowhere to be found on the graphic. She is not hidden in the background. She is not listed in the fine print. She is completely absent. We're talking about a player who single-handedly drove WNBA viewership up by 400% during her rookie season. A player whose jersey sales outsold every other female athlete combined. Yet USA Basketball decided to feature Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, and Kalia Copper on the promotional graphic instead. Christine Brennan, who has covered Olympic basketball since 1984, broke this story at midnight on Friday. And her reaction tells you everything about how significant this mistake actually is. She can see the context that makes this even worse. The Paris Olympics women's basketball team experienced a massive drop in viewership compared to previous years. Brennan reported that TV ratings fell significantly because casual fans had no compelling reason to tune in. The hardcore basketball audience showed up, but the broader sports audience that drives advertising revenue and media attention stayed away. Now, contrast that with what happened during Caitlin Clark's rookie WNBA season. Indiana Fever games averaged 1.2 million viewers on cable networks. Games she played in drew crowds that hadn't been seen in women's basketball in over 2 decades. Arenas that typically sat half empty were selling out weeks in advance. USA Basketball had the blueprint right in front of them. They watched the entire WNBA season unfold. They saw the numbers, the merchandise sales, and international media sending reporters specifically to cover one player. Their response to all that data was to leave her off the promotional graphic entirely. On this subject matter, well, I have given it thought over the last 60 hours. Listen carefully to what Brennan says about covering these gold medal games. She describes standing in the press tribune, the designated media area at Olympic venues, and using the word tumbleweeds to describe the attendance at a gold medal game for the most dominant team in Olympic basketball history. The U.S. women's team hasn't lost at the Olympics since they have won 7 consecutive gold medals. They are arguably the most successful team in any Olympic sport, men's or women's. Yet, journalists who cover basketball for a living are choosing to skip their games because the audience isn't there to justify the coverage. Bob Ryan, one of the most respected basketball writers in America, had conversations with Brennan at the 2012 London Olympics about this exact problem. That was 12 years ago. The issue isn't new. What is new is that women's basketball finally had a solution dropped into their lap, and USA Basketball is actively choosing not to use it. She is stating a fact that most people in sports media won't say out loud. There are journalists who will cover the men's Olympic basketball team, but refuse to cover the women's team, even when both teams are competing at the same venue. That is not a scheduling conflict. That is a deliberate choice based on perceived audience interest. Those journalists make coverage decisions based on what their editors will publish and what their readers will click on. When they skip women's basketball, they're telling you that their audience doesn't care. Except that calculation completely changed during the 2024 WNBA season. Suddenly, those same journalists who wouldn't touch women's basketball were scrambling to get credentials for Indiana Fever games. International media outlets were sending correspondents to cover a rookie point guard in Indianapolis. Brennan mentions a British journalist at the Masters golf tournament who specifically told her he was planning to cover Caitlin Clark at the Olympics. The demand was there, the international interest was there, the media infrastructure was ready, and USA Basketball left her off the Olympic roster entirely, citing the need to reward veterans and maintain team chemistry.